Okay, good morning everyone, and Chazak. Baruch, thank you for joining us on this beautiful Tuesday morning as we are entering the holiday of Yom Kippur, my friends. We are just 36 hours away from the most important day of the year, from the happiest day of the year. Yes, I said happiest. Yom Kippur is the happiest day of the year because it is the day that we come clean, we are forgiven. We are given a chance to come clean and be forgiven. Hashem is saying, come, I want you to do Teshuvah. I want to hear your apology. A lot of times when we get into a fight with somebody, when we hurt someone, when we offend someone, they're not interested. They don't want to hear it. But Hashem, no. Hashem today says, I want to hear it. And He sets a day in the calendar for Teshuvah, which is such a big blessing, such a gift. And we get to come clean on the other side. And so, of course, we are all upping our game. We are pushing it, trying to do whatever we can to be clean, to be forgiven, to get mercy in Hashem's eyes, whatever we need to do to get on God's good side over the next few days. And so we focus on Teshuvah. We focus on getting better, getting closer, man to God. But my friends, sometimes we fall into a trap of, as we try getting closer to Hashem, we do it by stepping on other people. We do it at the expense of other people. We do it by putting down other people. And not always consciously, not always on purpose. But if we pay attention, we'll realize that sometimes we're doing this. I'm reminded of the famous story with Rabbi Ariel Mizrahi. It was right before Yom Kippur. And as he was walking in the street, he noticed one of his students and he said to him, "Good morning." And his student gave him a very curt hi. And Rabbi Ariel Mizrahi was very bothered by this weak, pathetic hello. So he said to his student, "Is everything okay? What's with the hello? Maybe someone is sick, like is something on your mind?" And his student said, "Rebbe, Yom Hadin, Yom Kippur is coming. We're in Yomim Noraim, the days of awe. I'm afraid. I'm serious mode." But my friends, listen to what Rabbi Ariel Mizrahi said. Rabbi Ariel Mizrahi said to him, "Because you're afraid of your judgment, I now have to suffer. I now have to see your miserable, bitter face. Because you're afraid of God, you have to now punish me." This is what the great rabbi was teaching. That as we're growing closer to Hashem, as we're getting ready for this important day, it does not mean that we have to disregard people and neglect people. Oh, it's quite the contrary. The only way to get closer to Hashem is actually by being kind to people, by being loving to people. Just think about a guy leaving his house to go to Selichot. He wants to go pray, say sorry to Hashem. And on his way in, there's a poor lady there. She's standing, she's asking for tzedakah. Maybe before we saw Salanta's story, we would say, I can't, I have to go pray. I don't have time for tzedakah. I don't have time for you. I don't have time to say hello. Or your doorman in your building, maybe he says, "Hey, what's going on?" And he tries stealing a second of your time. "I'm sorry, I got to run to shul. I got a selichot to do." Or what if that lady is not a lady in the street, but what if it's your wife? What if it's your wife who needs a few seconds in the morning saying hello to you, trying to grab a goodbye hug before you go to the rest of your day? "Got to run, bye. Don't have time. I got selichot. I got to get close to Hashem." Says Rav Salanta. It's backwards. Just because you want to get selichot, your wife should suffer? We never grow, my friends, at the expense of people. We cannot. We cannot grow at the expense of people. If we want to grow, it has to be always with people. Always remembering that we don't climb higher by stepping on people. And it's something that's so hard as a balance as we're trying to get close to Hashem, to constantly remain vigilant that we're also getting closer to people. Rabbi Galinsky, he brings an amazing story of here. There was once a certain Gavir, a wealthy fellow. He visited the city of Tans to get a beracha from the great rabbi. The rabbi, he sees the fellow, he says, "Where are you from?" The man responds, "Lemberg." He says, "Oh, Lemberg, tell me, did the Melamed, did the teacher from Lemberg, did that Rebbe who teaches little children in school, did he end up getting enough for his daughter's dowry to pay for his daughter's wedding? Did he get the money at the end?" The philanthropist was confused. He's like, what are you talking about? What Gvir, what Melamed? He says, "Isn't there a teacher that's marrying off a daughter? A Rebbe? He's marrying off a daughter." No, he came to Tans, he asked for money, he came to collect. And I gave him what I could. I gave him a letter of recommendation. I gave him an endorsement. I tried to send him to some people. But ultimately, I didn't get enough for him. I'm wondering, did he end up getting enough when he got back home? The philanthropist is like, "Rebbe, I mean, I don't know. I know what you're talking about now. I realize which teacher, which Rebbe, but I don't know if he got enough. I have no idea." The rabbi looks at this fellow. He says, "I don't understand. You're from Tans. You're from the city, and you don't know. I'm from Lemberg, and I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it from a different town. You live in the guy's city, and you don't know." The teacher said, the wealthy fellow says, "Rebbe, what do you want from me? I have a job. I have a company to run. When I have a few minutes at the end of the day, I'm going to learn in shul. I'm trying to get Olam Haba. I'm trying to get closer to Hashem. I don't have on my head thinking about a teacher. Did he get his paycheck? Did he get his needs met? Did he afford his daughter's wedding? I don't know. The few minutes that I have, I'm not thinking about that. I'm trying to learn a little Daf Yomi. You know what I mean? A little Gemara, a little Torah." And he thought that would be a good excuse to tell the rabbi of why he wasn't aware of the predicament of this Rebbe, Melamed. But the rabbi looks at him and he says, "Oh, so you learn Torah? Great. So you must know Chumash. Let me ask you a question on Rashi. Listen to this question, my friends. Very powerful question. He says, when Yaakov Avinu was crossing the river by himself, it says, "Vayavek ish imo." There was a man fighting him all night long. And it doesn't say who the man was. It just says ish. But Rashi tells us who it was. Rashi says, you know who that ish was? The ish was the Saro shel Esav. It was the angel of Esav. Not such a good angel. Angel of Esav. And Yaakov's fighting him. Ad alot hashahar, until dawn. And it was only at dawn where the angel says, "Please let me go. I got to go." And Yaakov says, "You got to bless me." And he gives him a name change, right? This is the story with Yaakov and the angel. But he says, but there is another story just a few chapters later with a different angel, with a different man. If you remember, Yosef HaTzadik went to go look for his brothers. And as he's looking, as he's searching, he can't find them. And the pasuk says, "Vayimtzaehu ish v'hineh to'eh basadeh." A man finds Yosef. He saw that Yosef was lost. He saw Yosef was wandering. So he pulls over Yosef. He says, "Oh, how can I help you?" Yosef says, "Well, I'm looking for my brothers. Do you know where they went?" He says, "Oh yes, I saw them. They went there." And he gives Yosef directions. And over there, what does Rashi write on the word ish? Who was this man? Very good, T-E-A. Malach Gavriel. So asks the rabbi to this philanthropist from the city of Tans. "So I don't understand," he says. Rashi, by Yaakov fighting a man, writes that the man was the angel of Esav, a bad angel. But when Yosef was lost and he sees a man, the man was Gavriel, a good angel. What caused Rashi to explain the word ish differently? Why is this ish a bad angel and this ish a good angel? The man says, "It's a great question. I don't know." The rabbi said, "I'll tell you. Because if somebody is lost and you help them find directions, you're a good angel. But if somebody asks you for a beracha, someone says, can you bless me? And you say, I'm sorry, I can't bless you. I have to go pray to Hashem because it's dawn. Ki Allah shahar. I don't have time to bless you because I got to go daven. I don't have time to see and say hello and say good morning. I got to go do selichot. If you don't have time for people because you're trying to get more religious, you're a saro shel Isav. That's not a good angel. That's a bad angel. This was the rabbi's sharp message to this fellow. You think that learning at night is an excuse, that you don't know what's the status of this melamed? You think that's an excuse because you're learning Torah? Not an excuse. Not a good thing that you say to people, I'm sorry, I can't bless you because I have to go pray to Hashem. Unbelievable, my friends. What a musar. What a musar as Yom Kippur approaches. It's a day that we all want to be like angels. It's a day that we all want to be angelic. We wear talit all day, even at night. We take off our shoes. We don't eat. We say Baruch Shem out loud. What a day! But there's two types of angels. There's a Sav's angel, Gabriel's angel. We got to pick. Which angel do you want to be? Not all angels are equal. Not all angels are good. And as we approach the day of Kippur, we see this theme, my friends, again and again and again, that there is no more important message than growing, but not at the expense of Am Yisrael. When we read the book of Yonah was given a prophecy by God to go deliver to the people of Nineveh that in 40 days, if they don't do Teshuvah, they're going to be destroyed. What does Yonah do with that message? Doesn't deliver it. He runs away. Why does he run? Why doesn't he deliver it? Just go deliver the message. You're a prophet. That's your job. He doesn't deliver the message because Yonah knows that if he delivers it, they're going to answer. And if they answer the call, it's going to look bad for the Jewish people. It's going to be a strong accusation against Am Yisrael. There's going to be an indictment. How the Goyim could change with one prophet and we were so stubborn, dozens of prophets, and we don't change. And Yonah did not want to do something that was going to hurt Am Yisrael. That's one of the first lessons we learned from Yonah. Book on Yom Kippur that we read. You want to do Teshuvah? You want to grow? Not willing to. If it means I'm going to hurt someone. I'm going to step on someone. Because growth is not one direction. And who knows? You think the zechut's going to come from you doing selichot? Who said? Maybe your better year is going to come because you saw for 10 seconds and you gave a lady who's a widow, who's broken, who has no way to support her family. You gave her not just a few dollars, but you gave her an ear to listen to. How do you know that in Hashem's eyes, you selichot, singing Anenu? How do you know that that's more important to Hashem's ears than you spending a few minutes and listening to a broken person? We have it all backwards, my friends. We have it all backwards. Famous story of Rav Aaron Kotler back in BMG. One year, there was a fellow praying, an elderly fellow. He went to the rabbi, my head is hurting. The rabbi said, go pray, go in your room, lie down. Don't sit in the shul, it's too stuffy in here, it's too hot. Go sit in the bed, pray in your room. Yeah, you sure? I'm sure. That's what I'm telling you to do. Okay. He goes, he lays down in the morning, musaf, whatever. All of a sudden, fast forward to Ne'ilah time. Rav Aaron Kotler turns around and he's looking, and finally he calls up one boy to come to him. And this boy is thinking, wow, Rav Aaron Kotler calling me right before Ne'ilah. What could it be? And he goes, says, Rebbe, yes, what is it? And the rabbi says, that was an elderly fellow before. He was praying with us and I sent him to his room. Just do me a favor, go sit next to him, pray with him, and just make sure he's okay. Rabbi, you serious? You're joking, right? We're about to start Ne'ilah. We're about to pray with Kaddish, the most important prayer of the year. You want me to pray B'Yahid? You want me to pray alone? But Rabbi, You can't be serious. And Rabbi Ariel was so confused. He looked at the guy, he looked at the kid. He says, I don't understand. I'm talking about you go spending time with an elderly fellow, making him feel comfortable, and you're bringing me ne'ilah with minyan? Where's your priorities? Get out of here. For this kid, nothing could be holier than ne'ilah. For Rabbi Ariel, nothing could be holier than spending a few minutes with an elderly fellow, making sure that he wasn't alone. Pray, but you don't have to pray with him in. That was his priority. Rabotai, I mean, I don't think like that. I'll be honest. I don't think like that myself. But these are the Gedolim. They had their head straight. They knew what was really important, what was secondary. Yonah would not deliver a message if it would hurt another Jew. We are here to help other people. That's what we're here for. We're here to help other people. The Gemara says that one time Rabbi Akiva met this fellow Turnus Rufus. He was a tyrant, Roman. And this fellow says, Turnus Rufus says to Rabbi Akiva, you know, you guys like to give charity, but if God really loves the poor people, why didn't he give them money? Why did he make them poor? So Rabbi Akiva said back, very simple. Really, he wanted to give them the money, but he gave it to us instead so that we can give it to them, and by giving tzedakah, we earn merit. We earn olam haba. That was the answer Rabbi Akiva gave. And the Baalei Musar, they're bothered by this. They ask, they say, that's an interesting answer. So you mean to tell me that God made this guy poor? He has to now suffer. He has to suffer just so that I could go to Gan Eden? Just so that I could be safe from Gehenna? I got to suffer, be poor my whole life so that you can earn a ticket to paradise? And says, I believe it's Rav, if I'm not mistaken, Rav Dessler, if we only understood that we're here in this world to make a difference to people's lives, says Rav Dessler, yes, it would be worth it for a person to come down to this world and suffer and live a life of poverty if it meant enabling other Jews to get olam haba. If we understood what it means, that we have to live for other people, that's the only reason we're here on planet Earth, to live for others. If we understood that, then there would be no question. Yeah, absolutely. He should be no problem of living a life of poverty if it means helping my fellow Jews get to paradise. Unbelievable. This is the level of selflessness that's demanded of us. The level of selflessness that I'm willing to suffer if it means getting another Jew a ticket to paradise. Yes. The Chafetz Chaim, he was on the train, and he used to take, whenever they would take the train, it would stop at the station for a few minutes. And at each station he would go out and he would give a bracha to people. That's how the rabbis used to do. One time he was sitting in the train, and as the train started slowing down at one of the stations, the rabbi that he was with gets up, starts putting on his jacket and his hat. Chafetz Chaim says, where are you going? He says, well, there's Jews waiting. I'm going to go give them a blessing. Aren't you coming? The Chafetz Chaim said, am I coming? Are you crazy? Am I coming? You want me to go outside? You know how much honor is waiting there? He says, so? What's the big deal? He says, what do you mean, what's the big deal? You know what ga'ava, arrogance, you know how much Gehenna is waiting? You know how much hell is waiting for a person that has a little bit of arrogance, that gets a little bit of kavod in this world? You think I want kavod? You think I want to risk it? And the rabbi looks at the Chafetz Chaim and he says, Rabbi, even if it's true that we're going to get some honor, and by us getting that honor, it means we're going to go to Gehenna, but wouldn't it be worth it if it means being able to put a smile on those people's faces that are outside waiting for us? Wouldn't it be worth going to Gehenna if it means helping all those people outside and giving them some hope, giving them a blessing, giving them something to hang on, something to lean on, some guidance? Wouldn't it be worth it to go to Gehenna? When the Hafetz Chaim heard that, he said, "You're absolutely right." And he got up and he put on his jacket, he put on his hat, and he went out. Because to help people means that I gotta suffer sometimes, yes. Yeah, you gotta suffer. That's what it means to be a lover, a philo of Am Yisrael. A lover of Jewish people means sometimes that, there's a price to pay. I have to, if I have to go to Gehenna, I'll do it. That was the price that Chafetz Chaim was willing to pay to help another Jew. If it means I have to live a life of poverty so that I can give a rich man who has money the means to get Olam Haba, so be it. If it means I have to run away from God and not deliver a prophecy and be now banned from receiving any more prophecy because I'm running away, if that's the price I have to pay in order not to create an indictment on the Jewish people, then so be it. Moshe Rabbeinu was ready to die. Mehenina misifrecha. My friends, leadership is about realizing that when you become a leader, you now have a responsibility to think only about other people. And actually, leadership's not about getting respect and getting things, it's about actually giving up things for other people. When we become a parent, we don't get more, we lose. Right? Every mom, every dad could relate to this. When we become a mom, all our energy, our life, it sometimes gets sucked by the kids. It goes into the kids. Our space, our capacity, our thoughts, it's all about the kids. My day, it's all about the kids. Being a mom is not about getting. You don't become a parent to get. You give a parent to give. Leadership's the same thing. Moshe Rabbeinu was ready to give up his life. Yonah was ready to give up his life. Prophecy. It's all about other people. You got to be willing to give up a ne'ilah prayer. If it means you got to be with an old man, helping him. That was the rabbi. That's what he was teaching him. Do we think like this? Are we ready to do that? Are we ready to give something up on ourselves for the sake of someone else? Am I ready to maybe do with a little bit less of, a savings, a little smaller vacation? If it means that now I could give another person out there some chicken on the Sukkot table. If I give somebody else, if it helps pay someone else's rent that they can't afford. Am I willing to suffer a little bit so that someone else could enjoy? This is what it means to be achdut. This is what it means to be one. So, as we approach the holiday of Kippur, and we are thinking about growing and thinking about getting closer to Hashem, we have to constantly remind ourselves that it is never to try to get ahead of people. It's never to try to beat other people, to try to put down other people. It is precisely only to be with other people, to lift other people, to bring blessing to other people. And one always needs to think and have a lot of balance and guidance. Chokhmah, weighing out these different sides. Am I growing? Is my wife suffering along the way? Who am I stepping on? Who am I hurting? And this requires a lot of balance, requires a lot of chokhmah. Be'ezrat Hashem, we will be always given the wisdom to navigate our growth in life side by side, our relationship with Hashem and our relationship with people. Okay, we'll stop over here. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.